Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 19th. It is 6:22 right now. We got market opening up in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Good. More things here. So we are good to go. So I want to get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. So as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Down to the 8 hour, down to the 4 hour, to the 1 hour, down to the 30 minute, to the 15, down to the 10, and down to the 1 minute. All right, and it looks like we are good to go here. So good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 19th. It is 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. I marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 44,553. Closest level below is at 44,497. This is probably going to get hit pre-market. So just something to look out for. We got a bunch of liquidity targets up here. So it looks like price has been dropping for a while since yesterday. I guess we'll see here if it holds. Uh, Other than that, looks like we're good to go here. So looking over here at the breakout's looking like a possible sell for today. Let's go here and mark up the market structure bias from yesterday. So market closed uh, there. Nice. Yeah, so looking over here at the market structure bias from yesterday, in order for market to be efficient, it looks like we're probably gonna be looking for some sells today. So we'll kind of see we'll play by ear and we'll kind of see what happens here. But yeah, looking at this here with the market structure bias, looks like we want price to stay below this pink box. Looking over here at the overall trend, the 4 hour is still bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish, and 1 minute bearish here. So overall trend here is currently bearish across the lower and higher time frame. So, with that said, we kind of have a bearish bias for today. So the trend bias here is bearish because the 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute higher time frames are all bearish here. They're all below the pivots. Pivots are angling down. Trend meter's red. Same with lower time frames over here as well. On top of that, for our market structure bias, we're also looking for it to be bearish here as well. So that's just another thing to look out for. Yeah, other than that, we'll kind of play by ear and we'll just, we'll just see what happens here. We're not gonna only look for sells, but from what it looks like here, sells are looking more ideal. So we'll see what happens shortly here when the market opens up. We got the clean chart here. It looks like price is kind of just ranging between the 44,550 and the 44,500. So we have about a 50-point range right now. And we'll see if this holds. We don't know what's going to happen here on open. Price might push up, my price might push down. Looking up here at the SR chart. Where? Like we're good. All right, guys, we got market opening up very shortly. 1 hour support. We got market opening up in about 10 seconds. Breakout for today is going to be a sell. I'm not taking it, but we'll follow it for you guys. Market is opening right about now. So market is now open. Breakout for today is a sell. So we might have to hit that 50 points pretty soon. So I will mark up the 50 right here. And we'll come back and take a look at this shortly. So breakout for today is a sell, guys. You guys can see running in profit right now, running in the direction that we were kind of anticipating. Almost at the 50-point mark. Knocked out liquidity over here. So the breakout's almost at a 50-point mark for the 1-to-1 if you guys are looking to take the breakout today. Currently running in profit right there. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. So looking at this so far, looks like the target where it's aiming to reach for is going to be the sessions down there. 50 points have hit right here for the breakout, guys. So if you guys took the breakout, 1-to-1 already hit. If you want to hold on to it for the 100 points, it's still running down to its target down there. So solid push right there. Market opening price. Got some huge orders just came in right now. Let me see. 100 points for a sell. So someone just pushed in 100 points right there for a sell. Yeah, it's probably what causes a big spike to the downside right there. So it looks like the breakout hit its 50 points already. It's starting to retrace a little bit, so we're not necessarily sure if it's going to retrace all the way back up. But right now, the sellers are still in control. So the sellers have been in control since, we'll say, 6:10. So for the past 20 minutes, sellers have been in control here. You can see prices are rejecting directly off the sessions right there, the London low. Again, this is another example why we avoid trading at the sessions, right? This is why it's a red flag, because you can see how price gets highly manipulated at this red dotted line right here, which is the London low. So we'll see what happens here next. So we got price kind of bouncing up right here. If price ends up pushing up, we'll put the buyers back in control right here. I'll put a green line at this point. I'm not going to put it there yet because there's no confirmation at the moment. But if that does become the case, if that does become the case, then we'll see what happens here. Because if it pushes back up, I mean, the target area is going to be the opening price right here. So again, if we have the buyers back in control, we don't have the buyers in control yet. We need to have some sort of confirmation that it's actually pushing up. If we do, then the target price point is going to be up here for correction. Otherwise, this just might be a small little retracement. And price might just come right back down. So kind of see what happens here. We have an engulfing right there. But nothing to the upside. Price is rejecting off the pivots. So bears are still in control right here, as you guys can see. 4 hours bearish, 1 hour bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 1 minute bearish, etc. Everything's pretty much bearish here. Looking at the market structure bias, also bearish right here. We have a V1 that's currently setting up right now. If this closes with a V1 variation pattern, this is probably going to continue dropping lower. As much as I would like to take this here for a V1 variation, it's going to have to cut into the session. So not exactly the entry that I would like to take here because I'll most likely get manipulated out. So ATR is currently at 16, not very high right now. I'm just looking at the full picture here to kind of see what to expect. So looking over here at our clean chart, it looks like the range is between the 550 and the 450 right here. Similar to yesterday, 100-point range, and we have the middle point right here. V1 variation came up. Like I said, I would have wanted to take that trade there. However, it's going to have to cut into the session. So 20 points looks like it's about a hit right there, but it's a little tricky in the area. This actually would be an A++ setup, guys. We have a MPS V2 that started from up here at 612. Price push down, retrace confirmed right there. This would be one of the confirmations, and then this would be the second confluence right there. So this is an A++ setup. Just hit full TP right there. It's a little early in the session, so I mean, like I said, I wanted to take the V1 variation here, but earlier it was closing down here. So if I was to take it from this point, I mean, technically the entry would have to cut through the sessions down there. So that's a red flag for me. But either way, this here is an A++ setup that just came up. Reason why it's an A++ is because we have an MPS V1 right here, or MPS V2. Pull up the scenarios here again. So this scenario right here would be a scenario 3. You get an MPS V2 come up, reversal continuation right here, reversal continuation, enter on V1 or engulfing close. This here is a V1 close. That was the entry. So this entry was in scenario 3 setup. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it would have been nice to take, but I would rather be safer than sorry, especially in a market like this.
Connection lost.
All right, so NinjaTrader's having some issues again today, guys. Let me check my connection to see which account got disconnected. Okay, not a good sign, but it's back on. It was a live account, one of the hedge clients. All right, so I'm hoping Indicator didn't have any more connection loss today. We'll kind of have to see where this goes. So anyways, we had price kind of push up a little bit. Let me measure to see how far it pushed up from here. I wouldn't really say the buyers were in control here at any moment. The sellers kind of pushed price down, retraced up a little bit, then it came down lower. The breakout's still running to its full TP. So breakout is almost at its full TP right there for 100 points. It's about 40 points away. Goes, it gets down a little closer. Again, the bias here is still confirmed. So the bearish bias that we talked about earlier this morning before market open is still running. We're looking for price to stay below this pink box. Looking over here at the overall trend, everything's still bearish. The first thing that's going to shift, if it does shift back up, is going to be the 1 minute time frame. Everything else is bearish right now. So the higher time frames are all bearish. The lower time frames from 10 to 5 are bearish, and the 1 minute's the only time frame that will shift price to the upside first. So basically, the 1 minute's going to be leading. That's why we're going to be following it. Because if this here shifts up and pushes above the pivots, then that's when the 5 minute and 10 minute start to follow as well, right? Don't have that yet. So at this very moment, it's kind of just waiting to see when the retracement is going to actually happen, or if the reversal happens as well. But there's no confluences down here. You can see price is still coming to the downside. And we're just being patient with price movement here. Looks like price might try to come down and retest this lower range here. So the 450 might come down and test that. There's two things that'll happen once price gets down to this lower range. Price is either going to come down, bounce off it, or it's going to break below, retest, and continue dropping. So just a matter of time here. Hey, what's up, Sam? Jermaine's asking where was a reversal continuation? It was right here.
Connection lost.
So we had two right here. We had a reversal continuation right here. This was engulfing. Then another one right here is a V1. So there goes your two reversal continuations right there, plus the NPS V2, which was up here. So one right there.
Connection lost.
Interest traders having some problems right now, guys. I keep getting a bunch of connection loss. It just makes me not want to trade because of what happened the other week. So now all of my Tradeify accounts disconnected. Like literally all of them. We got a huge buy order for 100 points that just came in. Looking at the time and sales. I'm gonna be a little careful with my entries today, guys, because I keep getting connection lost on my NinjaTrader. If you guys remember what happened a couple weeks ago, I had connection lost. One of my accounts didn't close, so all of my accounts closed when I hit TP, and there's just one account that didn't close, which is obviously it's going to be a problem. So let me just make sure I have all of my client accounts set up here on TraderBait in case I have to log in and pull them out. Yeah, I'm just going to be super prepared in case I do take an entry. I don't know what causes NinjaTrader to have these connection issues. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I wish I knew what the issue was, but yeah, today's just one of those days where it has a bunch of connection issues. Let me check the news for today. I don't know if there's any catalysts really pushing price around. We had a high impact news at 5:30, so let me mark that up real quick. Yeah, it's just It's just scary when you trade and then the connection is lost when you're trading live accounts. It's different when you're trading prop accounts, like, an Apex account, because if you blow an Apex account or if I blow an Apex account, I'm like, okay, whatever. But I have like 20 live funded accounts, like real money. So I have like over 100K, maybe 150K in live funds that I'm trading. And if one of them has an issue, it's gonna link to like pretty much all of them. So I basically have like 100K, 150K of real money on the line when I take these trades. All right, so looking at this over here right now, we have the buyers that have pushed price up. So we have the buyers back in control from 636 right here. Price pushed up. We had a V1 variation and engulfing down here. Push price up. Currently have a buy signal right there. So we have an MPS V2 setting up right here as well. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold, but this does show that price is pushing back up from where it's currently at right now. So we do have price, which is pushed up. We have price coming back down. We have a V1 variation right here. So there's two things to look for here. If this candle closes green, this is going to be an MPS V2 to the upside. If this doesn't close green, we might have the sellers back in control right here. Right? There's two different scenarios here that can play out. So it kind of depends on the price action on this current candle right now. We have 30 seconds left on it. If it continues to drop lower, the sellers look like they may be back in control. The other thing here that I want to make obvious is that we have a range setting up right here. So we have a range setting up right here as well. A big range, really big range. All right, so looks like the buyers try to push price up from this point. It failed to hold. So here, now it's looking like the buyers are starting to, or the sellers are starting to pull back in control right here. The only problem is that we have all of these red flags in this area, right? We have the sessions right here. So if price does come back down, we get an NPS at some point. Now, obviously, it's going to be an issue. So we'll see what happens here. If this candle closes green, this is going to be an NPS V2 to the upside. The buyers still have not been invalidated yet. Until price pushes past this area, the buyers have not been invalidated. This is an MPS V2 setting up right here. We have one reversal confluence right here, buy signal right here, MPS V2 setting up at this candle. It's going to run into the sessions though, so it's a red flag at this time. I wouldn't take this entry myself. Because in order for us to hit our TP there, we have to get past this structure. We also have to get past the opening price. So for that specific reason, I wouldn't be taking this trade here for, an MPS V2. But we're going to follow it. There's a lot of stuff happening right here. This is a good time to look at the price action. So there's a lot of things running here right now. There's an MPS V2 running off this momentum. There's also this V1 that's still currently running to the downside. So there's basically two areas here that you want to look out for. You want to look out for this area right here, and you want to look out for this area down here, right? Because the thing is, this V1 variation hasn't been invalidated yet. If price pushes past this area, this V1 is invalidated and the sellers are no longer in control, or they never got in control at that point. If price fails to go past this area and it goes down further, then this is going to confirm that the sellers are in control right after this V1 variation. So there's a couple of things here that you want to look out for. I mean, there's too much happening within this one area, so I wouldn't necessarily take any entries. I would look for price to kind of push out of this box and push up higher, or look for price to push below out of this box and push lower. Because this whole area right here in the middle, it's not a good area to be trading in. Because right now we don't have a confirmation of who's in control. Also, the volatility is not very high. Currently it's at 18 ATR. So just be patient, guys. I mean, this isn't a good time to really force any entries because you could really get stopped out in either direction. But as price action comes up, I will read out the price action so that you guys can kind of understand what I'm talking about, understand where price is going. Right now, there's basically two thresholds right now that we're looking for. I'll just move this down a little lower, just for now. And I'll probably move it back up later because this is what's actually important. This area right here. Because if this area gets broken, the buyers are still in control, the sellers never took control from here. And there you go, it's broken right there. So you can see right here that the buyers are still pushing price up from here. So that NPS V2 that's running right now, it's still currently running in profit. Looks like it's about to hit its TP. Yeah, so full TP right there on the NPS V2 to the upside. Kind of a tricky entry because you got a V1 going against it right here. So price did break structure at this point. I'm going to move this back up to where it was originally. All right, so that's kind of what we got so far. We had an NPS V2 come down from here. Or this is actually an A plus setup. So this was an A plus setup. This is an NPS V2. Price still hasn't closed above this structure though. So until it closes above the structure, I mean, this can easily just bounce off and come right back down. But just gotta be patient. Siobhan, it's strange because it seems your apex is not affected. I never get that message. My apex is affected sometimes, but very rarely. It's usually the personal accounts and then the smaller accounts. Like I don't know if like apex because it's like so many accounts, it doesn't have any issues, but or I don't know if apex is on its own like private feed. But all of my accounts that have the issues are like the live accounts, Siobhan, usually. So that's why it's a little tricky when I have the disconnects. Let's see, Christian said that he sees a head, inverted head and shoulders here. I could see it possibly. It's like a really messy one though. So I can kind of see it right here. Yeah, possibly right there, Christian. But price is coming back down, so possibly not. It looks like it might be head and shoulders the normal way. Or no, I take that back. No, not really. Because this hasn't broken the area. All right, so it looks like the sellers might be back in control right here from this this V1 variation pattern. So price is still stuck within this range here. And we talked about this a little while ago. It's not really a good area to be trading in within this middle area. But we do have the sellers possibly pushing in control right here.
Connection lost.
Have another connection loss. Let me check which account got disconnected again. It was another personal account. All right, so I had another connection loss. I don't know what's up with NinjaTrader today. Basically, like a lot of all the personal accounts keep getting connection lost. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have basically 7 accounts have been connection lost today so far. They're reconnecting, but
Connection lost.
another connection loss. Now that's my personal account, I don't know if I'm going to execute any trades today, guys. I'll see if I see something really, really good, and I think price is going to push in that direction. I'll take it, but I'm not going to take anything risky today. I've had about 10 accounts get connection lost, not at the same time, but they're at different times. Like every couple of seconds, they get a new connection lost. And they're all of the personal accounts that I have under the hedge fund. I had one Traderfly that got disconnected, but yeah, I need to be careful. So I'll analyze the trades for you guys, but just a heads up, I don't know if I'll be executing trades on my accounts today. because the last thing I want to do is get caught in a position, the account gets disconnected and I can't get out of it. That's what happened. That's what happened last time. The thing is, I have my protocol in place. So in case that does happen, I'll just log in, or I'll try to log into the account manually and pull out of the position from TraderVate. Hey, Lamar, morning. Barack said, not convinced buyers taking control, might even take that low, or probably bounce off the London low. Yeah, I can see that too. So the sellers are back in control right here, guys. There's another MPS V2 that may be setting up right here next. We have the sellers in control here from 647. We have a V1 variation pattern right there. We have a sell signal right here. So if this candle closes green, if the next candle closes red, then we may have a possible MPS V2 setting up. The only problem with this is that if we do get an MPS V2 setting up, it's going to have to cut through the sessions below. And this is not an area where I want to trade at, right? It's considered a red flag. So there's a couple things here to look for. Main thing is if this candle closes red, this will be an MPS V2. And then I'll look for price to maybe push below the structure. And then I'll look for a possible A+ setup down here. Maybe, right? Maybe if that happens. Might be wishful thinking, but possibility. We have an engulfing.
Connection lost.
Have another connection loss, guys. Sorry, let me check. Okay. I don't know what's going on with NinjaTrader today, but I'm getting a lot of connection loss. I'm perhaps getting in touch with their customer service later because this is probably the most that I've seen it get connection loss in one day. So this is probably the 10th or 11th time my connections have been. The thing is, they reconnect right after. But the scary part is, like, say for example, I enter a position here, right? Say for example, I enter a sell position and say everything hits TP. The thing that's scary is that when it hits TP, like, me having the worst luck, which is what happened 2 weeks ago. When it hits TP, it's gonna, if I have a connection loss at that same exact time, then certain accounts will not close out. Luckily for like that last time it happened, price was like dropping, like it was just dropping so deep, right? It dropped and it dropped and it dropped. So what happened was I hit my TP somewhere around here, but then I had to manually go into one of my client accounts and I closed him out right here. So we made more profit than he would have if he closed it at TP. So that worked out in my favor, but imagine if price hits your stop loss and you get a connection loss and price ends up like way up here. Then you're kind of screwed because instead of having a 20-point stop, you have like a 30-point stop. Or if you had a 30-point stop, you end up having like a 40-point stop. So that's why I'm trying to be a little more cautious with this here. I'm gonna try to find, the thing that sucks here is that I want to try to find a better solution, but I think NinjaTrader is the best solution for futures trading. I don't know any other brokers that will let me, obviously copy all these accounts. And it's yeah, CJ said that connection loss is freaking me out and it's not even happening to me. Yeah, Brock said I used to experience it too with NT8. It's weird. You would expect like some platform like this not to have those issues, but I guess
Connection lost.
another connection loss. Fuck me. It seems like everybody's connection is getting lost on like everyone's personal connection. So that's a total of 15 connection lost today. What I might do is I might just disconnect the personal accounts and I'll just trade like my Apex and the prop accounts. I feel more comfortable doing that. Because if I'm
Connection lost.
connection, I don't know if you guys are hearing that on your end, but there you go, another connection loss. Yeah, I'm okay with blowing a prop account, but like putting live counts at risk is that's what I really care about. Yeah, Brock said, yeah, he can hear. Shabam said, yes, not even my accounts, and I'm stressed for you. Yeah, it's I'll play it by ear. It doesn't matter. The market sucks right now anyway, so there's no entries for us to take. But I'll kind of just wait and see what happens. Hopefully in the next like couple minutes or so. Yeah, maybe look, the connection will just smoothen out as we get closer to 7 o'clock. Um, but yeah, if not, I'll just disconnect all of the hedge accounts and I'll just trade my prop accounts. Either way, I'm up for the week so far. So if you guys saw my stats for the month so far, we're doing pretty good. I mean, for like the entire month of February, these are my stats so far. First week of February, I made 10,870. Second week of February, when I was on vacation, I made 18,550. And then for this week so far, I'm up 27,055. So I'm doing pretty good and pretty decent for the month. Currently for February, I'm up 56,475. So I don't need to force any trades here. I think that's the big benefit about having, consistent strategy. You don't have to trade every day, right? I feel like with a lot of people, they feel the need to trade every day. So if I don't trade today, it's completely fine. I'm still happy with my 27K for the week. So I don't need to I don't need to squeeze anything in that's unnecessary. I mean, anyways, price is stuck in this range here, so it's not really a big deal until price breaks out of this area. So looking at this right now, we currently have the buyers in control at the moment. We get buyers push up from 651. So from 651 up until now, we have an engulfing. We have a V1 variation in engulfing right here, a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. So what we're looking for is a red candle and a possible continuation to the upside. The only problem here is that if we do get an entry here for MPS V2, is that we have to cut through the sessions above, right? This is my red flag here, so it's not exactly an area that I want to be trading in. So I'll be looking for this here, but I'll be looking for this here, but if it doesn't play out, then I mean it's still fine. We're still stuck within this range here down the middle. Yeah, CJ said, hell yeah, we hear it. LOL. It's stressing me out. I know. So it looks like the accounts are good so far. No issues so far since 6:59. The thing is, NinjaTrader's not even saying that it's getting disconnected anymore. I'm looking over here at the change log, and I can see the account's getting disconnected, but it's not making the noise anymore. Got another client account get disconnected at 6:59, which is just a minute ago. It's all right. I'll play by ear. If the market starts to, get out of this area, then we'll look for entries. If not, I'm just gonna. This is just not a good area to be trading in right here down the middle. You can see the range here on the clean chart. It's still stuck within this middle point. It's currently consolidating like around this middle area. The big range is between the 550 and the 450. So the consolidation point is between the 500 and the 450, but the big range is between the 550 and the 450. So it's a 100-point range. Looks like the buyers are trying to be back in control here. So it looks like if you're looking at it closely, price is kind of like pushing up, retrace, pushing up further. We're pushing up to this upper range here. So let's see if price actually breaks past it. This is an MPS V2 that's currently running right now, guys. So this here is an MPS V2. Again, it's not one that I would take because we would have to cut through the sessions right here, or not the sessions, the opening price, which is considered a red flag for me. But if price does push past this area, then, so be it. We have a liquidity target right there. Liquidity target right there. Liquidity target right there. And liquidity target. And down there. All right, so we have the MPS V2 currently running in profit right now. I'm not in this position because we have this red flag right here, which is opening price, but we do have price attempting to break past the structure. I think the key thing here is to look at price to see if it breaks past the structure, because if it finally does, we'll probably get a push to the upside where it's going to knock out liquidity up here and liquidity up here. But if not, price might just bounce off this structure here and it might just stay within this range. So I'm not in the position here, but like I said, we want price to break out of the structure first before we start looking for any actual entries. Okay, so my profit counts are getting disconnected right now too. I just started a new take profit account, take profit trader. That one just got disconnected for some reason. I'm not getting notifications anymore with the connection issues, but the connection was lost right now at 7 o'clock. So I'll keep you guys updated just so that you guys are aware. I don't know if anybody here is trading with Take Profit Trader. I just started a new eval with Take Profit Trader because I figured I'm already maxed out on all of my Apex. I'm maxed out on Tradeify, maxed out on Perdia. Might as well add on another Take Profit Trader account. I'm going to do these one by one because I haven't gone funded with them before. So I want to make sure that they're like reliable before or if they're okay with my trading strategy and style before I load up on like 5 accounts with them. So we'll kind of see where it goes from here. I mean, it wouldn't matter because there's nothing for me to take here anyways until price breaks out of this area. Like there's no MPS V2s that I can take because they keep getting to this red flag area. And there's no MPS V2s to the downside because there's a red flag down here as well. Let's see, Glenn said maybe it's your ISP, that's why you're disconnecting. So I don't know because the thing with the ISP is that like it's not disconnecting all of my accounts at once. Like if I was having an actual Wi-Fi or connection issue, like it would disconnect all the accounts, right? For me, it's just disconnecting like single accounts here and there. So I don't think it's
Connection lost.
another connection loss right there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. It might be my ISP. I highly doubt it though. I'm on fiber, so like this is probably like the highest. I'm on Google Fiber, so it's like the fastest most reliable internet connection for retail. I mean it's not like a T1 or a T5, but T1 T5 that's for servers and stuff. So I don't know, it could be that. I highly doubt it's the case, but I mean, it could be. So I wouldn't knock that out. If that's the case, then that's fine. I mean, if it's my internet connection, then I'll probably just hold off on taking anything right now. Let's see. So Barack is asking, are all your personal accounts on the same key as the Apex ones? Yeah, I'm logged into my personal. Like, I have a lifetime license with Ninja, Barack. So I'm logged into to my personal, and then all of the added accounts they're added on to this specific login. Yeah, I don't think it's the license key issue. So I mean, I'll just have to wait and see. Honestly, there's nothing here I can really do. And you guys are hearing it, so it's not like I'm just hearing things here. It's kind of weird. I kind of want to message Ninja Share right now, actually.
Connection lost.
Connection loss, personal account. Order just came in, let's see. Not a huge order. 50 contracts for buy just came in right now.
Connection lost.
Another connection loss. Let's see. Sorry to hear you're experiencing connection issues with certain accounts or platforms. All right, cool. So trying to get in contact with Ninja Trader customer service right now. I'll keep looking for entries here, but like I said, I'm not really looking to take anything at this moment because I'm not trying to get screwed with being stuck in a position. So the buyers have been in control here for a while, guys. We had an engulfing V1 variation A plus setup right here. This one hit stop though. So this one over here didn't actually play through. I mean, like I said, this area right here is kind of a tricky point for price to get past. Now that we're finally past the structure, we'll see if it climbs up higher. So what I'll be looking for next is I'll look for price to kind of like push up, retrace, and then push back up from there. Let's take a look at the overall time frames again. So everything here is still bearish. It's just the 1 minute who's currently above the pivots. The 5 minutes still below the pivots, 10 minutes below the pivots, etc. Breakout's actually still running too. It's been a while. I'll kind of see what happens here next. So we are back in the range. Looks like price fake out right
Connection
here.
lost.
Another connection lost right there. I'm definitely not going to trade today, guys. There's just too many connection loss at this point. And now it's my Purdy account. So like literally every account on I have about 50 accounts here.
Connection lost.
Another connection loss. Yeah, I'm just not
Connection lost.
another connection loss. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother trading on my Ninja Trader today. Pretty much all of I have like 50 accounts linked to my Ninja Trader, and almost all of them have had a connection loss today. The only one that hasn't had a connection loss is my Apex. But my Purdy just got a connection loss. My Take Profit Trader got a connection loss. Tradeify got a connection loss. Every account except my Apex, which is surprising. That's crazy. Okay, that's fine. I'm just not gonna take anything today. There's no need for me to force anything. On a day like this. All right, so we got price pulling back into the range here. We still got a lot of time, guys, so don't worry. If there's no entries here that have come up yet, I would probably just wait for price to again break out of this area. You really don't want to trade within this middle point. because the last thing you want to do is get caught in somewhere down the middle, and then price goes opposite of you, right, to the upside, or even vice versa to the downside. So we got a fake out right here. Price is pulling back down. Looks like the sellers might be back in control from this point, from right here. We have an engulfing right here with the pending momentum signal. So we have an engulfing candle here, just closed with a momentum signal. We're currently within the range. This could start to set up for an MPS V2. So we're looking for price to push below, retrace, continue down. Only problem here is if we do get an MPS V2, it's going to have to cut into the sessions below again, possibly. Let me check the news for today. There is one news event at 7 o'clock. It already passed, actually. Actually, this is yesterday's news. Sorry, guys. I wasn't even looking at the right thing.
Connection lost.
Connection lost. All right. I'll just leave that running in the background. Anyways, for today, we had a couple news events. We had, I don't understand why my FX book is not loading. So we had a bunch of news events today, but none of these have loaded for some reason. Okay, building permits at 5:30, red book at 5:55. And that's about it for the news for today, it looks like. No MPS V2 here yet. Back here. So we got some profits here from Barack. Barack did pretty good today. So Barack's got a couple trades for the day, locked in a total profit of 6,166. Nice work, Barack. Pretty solid profits right there so far. There's a lot of entries that have came up here, but they're like at red flags, guys. So that's why I'm not really taking these entries here as price continues to, obviously bounce around. I mean, you can even just take these reversal continuation patterns, like basically all of these, like the V1 variation, you could have taken that for a small entry, this engulfing V1 right here, taking that for a buy, V1 variation, take that for a sell, V1 right there, engulfing, etc. There's a lot of opportunities here for entry. It's just, I personally don't think it's a good area to be trading in because, or if you want to take them, I would go for like quick ins and outs, like 10 points. Not necessarily the full 20 because there's a lot of red flags here. So we have the opening price still above this area. And yeah, we just don't really have much consistency here. Price is kind of just going back and forth. We have another liquidity point right here. So if price does push back up higher, might try to reach that point up there. We also have liquidity right here. And we have liquidity right here as well. All right, we got price pushing back up. Looks like the buyers might be back in control from this point right here. Looks like price can try to reach this liquidity target. Here's the SR chart. You guys can see how messy the SRs look right now. Here's a clean chart. So like I said earlier, we have the upper range right here at the 550, and we have lower range right here at the 450. Price looks like it's trying to reach the upper range right now. So basically started from up here, pushed down, and then now it's trying to come back up to this upper range. I mean, we'll see if it actually reaches that point. Otherwise, price here might just fake out and pull back into the range. We got a bit of a messy chart right now. It's a messy chart. Volatility is not super high. Not really too much of a bias. I mean, looking over here at the trend bias, everything's still really bearish if you look at it closely. 4 hours bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish. The only thing here that's bullish right now is the 1 minute. So the 1 minute's kind of holding above while everything is kind of staying below. So I don't know if this push up is just temporary. You can see over here from our market structure bias, price is currently within the pink box right now. But every time price gets near it, it rejects off and it comes right back down. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if it actually pushes past this area. You got a lot of liquidity on both ends though. So if you see over here, I mean, it looks like price is starting to box in around this area. So once it knocks out liquidity, like there's a lot of liquidity down here. So if we have a price dump right here, it might just come back and grab all this liquidity and then maybe come back up and grab this liquidity. Or it could do the opposite. Price can push up, grab this liquidity, and then come back down and grab this liquidity. So just be careful about your direction of price, guys. Because you can really get stopped out in either direction here. Because there's a lot of liquidity grabs that can happen, whether it be above or whether it be below. Let's see, Barack and Sean, check your firewall and antivirus settings to ensure it's not the issue, perhaps. But again, why would it disconnect a few and leave the others? Yeah, I'll probably check that too. I mean, I'm going to check the email that the actual Ninja Trader support sent me, and I'll see what they want me to go through. But it's yeah, it's weird. The thing is, it doesn't always happen too. It's like right now, I haven't had a connection lost in like the last 7 minutes. So maybe this is a good sign. Maybe at this point the connection loss is no longer an issue. But we'll just keep watching. I'll keep monitoring my accounts. I haven't logged out of my Ninja Trader yet, so I'm gonna wait and see if the issues persist. Anyways, looks like we might have the sellers back in control right here, or trying to be back in control from the 717 point. One thing that I've noticed here is so see how we have the high point right here, right? We have the sellers that came back in control right here, and this is the high point. What I've noticed is if you have an engulfing candle that bounces off this point, it usually pushes down, and that's exactly what happened right here. Price, we had an engulfing and V1 variation, rejection off this structure, and then it came down quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't always work, but this is something that I started to notice yesterday when I was doing my back testing. So like again, right here, we have this low point. So if I get a V1 or an engulfing right here, bouncing off this point, to the upside, it's probably going to push up. They've been acting as like nice rejection points here. Same with this right here, right? So right here we have We had the sellers in control, V1 right there, and price bounced down pretty nice. So it's just something to look out for. Whenever I see these patterns, I'll let you guys know. But I do see these patterns sometimes. They kind of act like, some people like to trade supply and demand. It's kind of like supply and demand, but I mean, I personally don't trade supply and demand, so I just call it support and resistance. For the most part, it's kind of the same. It's just there's more support resistance, and supply and demand is like at a certain price point. And it's just kind of the same way of identifying supply and demand anyways, right? So if you guys ever identify supply and demand, it's like looking for a high point and then looking for a strong push in the opposite direction. And that's what happened right here. Price pushed up, and then from here it pushed down very strongly. That's why I have the red line right there. And I mean, this would be considered a supply and demand zone. Oh yeah, today's Wednesday. So I just remembered, today is FOMC minutes. That's probably why the market here is super slow. We're middle of the market right now. The ATR is currently at 14. This is very low for this time of market. Usually right now it should be around like 25 ATR. Right now it's super low, it's at 14. I think a lot of people are kind of just sitting out of the market waiting for the FOMC minutes later at 11. So I guess we'll see what happens then. Anyways, this liquidity right here got knocked out, guys. Liquidity got knocked out right there. So grab liquidity. So if you guys remember my analysis earlier, I said this is what might happen. Price might come down, grab liquidity, and then come back up and grab liquidity up here. Like basically liquidity grabs on both ends. That's why it's tricky to follow these trades here, because if you get in a little too early or a little too late, if your timing is just off by a little bit, you can miss a liquidity grab and it can easily bounce off and go to the next liquidity. And then you come back down here, maybe come back down here. So the liquidity just got grabbed there. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Price came down, grabbed liquidity, now it's pushing back up. Super, super strongly. There's no entries here yet though, so. There's no entries here yet, so I'll kind of see where this ends up going. Looks like the consolidation is starting to stay above, well, not really above, but it's staying right down the middle. So if you guys remember, I said earlier, this is the big range. But then the middle point right here is kind of where the little range is at, the consolidation. So we have the big range and we have the consolidation down here. And that seems like it's where price is currently sitting at the moment. I know this looks super messy, but makes sense to me. So I'm trying to mark up who's in control. And the sellers are still in control right now. So what you can possibly see here is a possible bounce. Or if you don't see a possible bounce there, you can see a possible break above. Let's see, Barack said also, Sean, after entering a trade, your copier is copying TP stop loss. Yeah, it is. I have the ATM settings on, so it copies over the TP stop loss to the follower accounts. Barack said, just thinking, why would one keep running past TP stop loss? That's because there would be a connection issue. So like 2 weeks ago, there was a connection issue when it hit my TP, and it couldn't execute the trade because you need to have connection to exit the trade, right? Like you can't be in a position and then you have no connection and your broker can't disconnect it because your computer's not able to send it's not able to send the command to the broker. That's kind of what your platform does. Like if you're on TradingView right here and you have a TP stop loss set up, like say if you were like, you had a TP stop loss set up and it hits your TP, your platform has to send this command to your broker, right? That's how your broker knows, okay, take him out of the position. And that's kind of what happens. Sometimes it'll hit the TP, it'll have a connection issue right here. And then during that connection issue, like for whatever reason, it happens exactly at the TP point. there's no signal that goes out to the broker telling the broker to close you out. Because the platform isn't necessarily your broker. The platform is a middleman. So that's like how it would work. Yeah, no, NinjaTrader is not cloud-based. It's based on your computer. If you're on the Tradeovate web platform, then yeah, that's cloud-based. If you're trading on a web-based platform where you log into it on the internet and everything is already online, then that's cloud-based. But NinjaTrader is not cloud-based. It's a PC platform or a PC program. So it doesn't really populate on the cloud. That's why, like, if you're running, like, say for example, if you're running an automated strategy, or like a bot, if you're running a bot like on MC4 or on anything really, if you're running it on NinjaTrader, you have to have your computer on at all times, right? Otherwise, you need to have it on a VPS, which is a computer on a virtual server, because it needs to be running at all times. It's not on the cloud. It has to run to make executions. So yeah, the only cloud-based platforms would be like NinjaTrader cloud-based if you're trading on the web platform, or Tradeovate. Those are like on the actual internet. So like those are on their servers, not yours. And there's nothing going on here. I think it's maybe a good thing that my thing isn't working, because there really isn't anything happening here. I kind of want to clean up the range here and create a new range, but this range here is still it's still valid. So this range right here is still valid, but here, let's just do it from the clean chart. Because there's a tighter range here. Yeah, so you can kind of see here, I just wanted to clean it up a little bit so you guys can see, like, we have the big range that's right here. And it's obviously, it's kind of messy because we have all the stuff on the chart. Even if I take off all my tools, you can see it's still very messy. But for the most part, we're still, like, not much has happened over the time period. All right, so we have price coming back down. I drew like another range right here on the clean chart just so you guys can see things a little better. Price is breaking below the structure. Yeah, Brock's also Sierra chart. Don't know how it does it, but for some reason connection drops and I was on a trade with a set stop. It drops me off at the stop, whether TP or stop loss. Yeah, no, I mean, if it reconnects, like if your connection disconnects but it reconnects, that's when it'll send the order. So it'll close it out. Like if you just get disconnected, like I'm looking over here at my disconnections, the connection loss only happens for like a split second or like maybe 2 seconds. Like right here, the most recent connection loss happened at it happened at 7:13 and 49 seconds, and then it reconnected at 7:13 and 51 seconds. So it was only connection loss for about like 3 seconds. But the problem is if you hit your stop loss or you hit your TP within those 3 seconds, then you're kind of screwed because price can be like super far up by then, right? Like if you're trading a news event, that's why like I think news events are the worst, because you can have a connection issue and then within seconds, price could be right here and it'll be all the way up here at this point. Same with like this big candle, right? We have this candle here, say it hits your stop loss right here, and then it spiked up within seconds, right? Instead of having your stop loss down here, you'd have a loss of like 40 points. So that's why it's always a tricky situation when you end up with something like that. Like, because you never know when the spike's going to happen. Like, there's going to be spikes that happen here and there, even when there's no news. Like, I think this candle right here is kind of weird with this huge spike. I don't know if there was news here at 7:30. I mean, there was the New York Treasury purchases from right here, but I don't think that was enough to spike price like it did right now. It's a huge candle. 40-point candle right there. The thing is, you can see it's respecting the zone here. So here's my zones here on the clean chart. It's a smaller, cleaner zone. You can see how price is respecting the zone there very well. It did a pretty hard fake out. Price came out, faked out right here, and it shot up basically to stop everybody out. And now it's coming back down. Yeah, the spike from down here is actually pretty big. So within a minute, it had a 63-point spike. Looks like it just looked to stop everybody out within the range. That's what I was saying. This area right here is not a good area to trade in because, if you were to take a sell right here, say, for example, you take the sell and your stop loss is 20 points. You get stopped out, right? If you take the buy right here at some point and you do the same thing, you get stopped out either way. So see how you can get stopped out both ways from up here, or you can get stopped out from down here. This is why I say like it's very important that you guys don't trade within this middle area here. I mean, and if you do trade, go for like the quick ins and outs. Get out for like 10 points. Because if you're holding on to it for too long, the likeliness of you getting shaken out of this position is very likely. And you guys can see all of these momentum signals right here too that CJ mentioned. There's a buy signal, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. This shows you that there's really nobody in control right now. The sellers kind of push price down and the buyers are trying to push price back up. But let me just clean up these liquidity targets because it's becoming a little bit of a mess here. Let's see. It's probably a good thing that I had connection issues today. Otherwise, it looks like I would have taken this. Let's see. Sellers were in control right here. Engulfing, MPSV2. Looks like I would have taken this inch right here and I would have lost it. I mean, there's a red flag down here though, so I probably wouldn't have taken it. Price has been stuck within this range since, from market open. Market opened up right here at 6:30. Let's look at the clean chart real quick. Let me just mark up opening price. Okay, so this is where opening price was. You can see price hasn't really gone anywhere. The breakout it's still running. It's a long time for the breakout to be running. It did hit its 1-to-1 TP right there, but it's still running right now overall. So I'll just put this up real quick in the chat so that you guys can have an idea if you guys did take the breakout. Looks like some of you guys did take it. Um, yeah, so the trade's still running right now if anybody's holding on to it. I mean, obviously it's kind of a tricky situation right now because nothing's happening, but the partial did run through right there. All right, so it looks like price again is having an attempt to break past this area. It looks like the buyers might be back in control at this point. I don't know for how long, but the buyers are currently in control at this point right now. There's an MPS that's starting to set up right here. We had an engulfing, another engulfing. So it's been pushing up since 7:30, about 7 minutes now, pushing to the upside. We have a pending buy signal here. If this buy signal closes, this might start to set up for a possible MPS V2, but at this very moment, there's just there's no buy signal yet. All right, Barack. Yeah, so Barack's done for the day. He said, yeah, he's good for the day. Cheers, guys. Happy hunting. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, we'll have some actual direction here. But I mean, looking at current price, we're not really having too much here. Like I said, here's a clean chart. This blue line right here is the opening price, right? This is where market opened up at 6:30. As you can see, price has not really pushed away from opening price since. It's exactly at opening price. So we did have a push to the downside. Then we had a correction back up. And ever since, it's been sitting in this middle area right here. So I mean, this is the type of market to really just sit out of for the most part. There's nothing to take at the moment. Let's see, I'm kind of curious to see what my long-term investments are looking like so far. It's been pretty good. If you guys are like, that's up like $800 for the day. Thing is, I've been holding these Nike stocks for like, I think 2 years now. And they finally made a push up yesterday. I think Kim Kardashian set up a brand deal with them. It's the only stock in my index that's down. Everything else is up. Once I get back in a profit with Nike, I'm gonna pull out of it completely. You know, Nike's one of the brands that I believed in, but there's so many athletic brands out there now that they're losing a ton of market share. I'm trying to look for something that, here, let me see. I'm looking because I have some like, I have like about 2,000 extra funds that are kind of just sitting there. I'm looking for something to buy into. The SPY is like kind of similar to the S&P. It mirrors the S&P, but it's not really cheap right now. It's trying to dump some money into something and just let it sit. I have a lot of QQQ, which is similar to NQ. I made a killing on this. I bought this like early of last year. So I pretty much rode this whole bullish push. I bought it in January of last year. Yeah, I saw it. So I bought right here at this low, and I climbed this all the way up. I'll have to do some research to see which stock I should buy into. Everything is kind of overpriced right now. I'll probably have to come back and get that later. Anyways, guys, back to the chart. Sorry, I went off track right there. There's just nothing going on. Price is still stuck right here down the it's still stuck in the range. So I mean, it hasn't done anything. So don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything here. Yeah, no, Vanguard's good too. Chris, so yeah, Chris said check out Vanguard. Yeah, Vanguard's good. The thing with Vanguard is that it's well, I mean, this is their tech, so it's very similar to QQQ. I don't like to put them all into like one thing. The Vanguard's good, but if you like, I would just put it into one sector. Like I'm already in QQQ, so for me, I just stack up my QQQs, which is it mirrors the Nasdaq, and it's the same with like VGT. The actual like the regular Vanguard index is going to mirror something like the Spider or a SPY. So I don't really put them into two different ones. I choose like one or the other. But the Vanguard's good too. I mean, for a lot of people who work regular jobs, like if you work a regular W-2 job, your employer usually invests in Vanguard. Like a lot of medical companies, or if you work at a hospital, a lot of them invest in Vanguard, which is good. I mean, Vanguard's good. It's just the same thing when you compare VGT to QQQ. And QQQ is going to be more volatile because it's consistently changing. So like for me personally, I personally just stick with QQQ. I'm looking for another sector to get into, maybe like a gas sector, or some sort of energy sector. So I'd have to look into like, and I don't have that much money sitting on it anyways. I have about 2,000 that's like free cash, free profit for my dividends. And then on top of that, I'm going to deposit another 12,000 for my IRA. So every year I just deposit like the max. The max is like 12,000, I think, depending on like where you fall on the bracket. I mean, they might have lowered it, but that's all I do. I deposit like whatever the max is, and I put it into some sort of stock that I think is going to go up. And luckily, everything's been going up for me. So, and it's just a tax break too. It's an IRA, so I just leave it there until I retire, which won't be a long time from now. And then when I do pull it out, it's tax free. There's not much going on here. Let's see. Hey, what's up, B? BC Sean, still to go. Can you look at gold? Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at gold real quick. So looking over here at gold for the day. Well, what time frame do you trade on, B? Do you trade on the 1 minute, or do you want me to look on something higher? Because looking at the 1 minute over here, I mean, I can do my analysis. Sellers have been in control since this point right here, most recently. Price came down, retrace came down, tried to push up, but the sellers have still been in control. So sellers have basically been in control since 6:51 this morning. Past 30 minutes, price has been pushing down from this point. We did get a little bit of a push up right here. So if you wanted to break it down into like even smaller points, you can say that the buyers got back in control right here. And then I would say the sellers got back in control right here. So it just kind of depends on how you want to chop it up, right? Because looking at this right here, we had a V1, there's an MPS V2 right here. So like going back to what I was saying before, guys, you can use these strategies on different assets. You don't have to use it on YM, but I mean, YM is obviously going to be your best option. But if you wanted to use this here for something like this, for gold, this was an MPS V2, V1, sell signal, push up, retracement, continuation. It's an MPS V2 right there. And then it pretty much resets at this point. Price pushes up, engulfing, no MPS V2. Now price pushes back down. We have a V1 right here. This indicates a reversal pattern to the downside. Sell signal right there, retracement. This is an A+ setup right here. You have an engulfing, and it also breaks and closes past the momentum. So this right here, again, is another engulfing, or I would consider an A+ setup. So there's currently a sell running right here on gold at the moment right now. If you want me to look at it from a higher time frame, I can do that. Just let me know. But this is kind of where I'm seeing on the 1 minute right now. Price is coming down. There's a big order that came in, 100 contracts for sells for YM. So let's go back to YM real quick. The good thing, guys, is I don't have any connection loss issues from now. So maybe I can look for some entries at this time. I haven't had a connection loss issue since 7/13. So I don't know if it was an issue with Tradeovate, NinjaTrader, my internet. I mean, who knows? But I'll start looking for some possible opportunities over here. Yeah, no problem, B. Yeah, if you're looking at gold, possibly look for some sells right now. The sellers are still in control. So looking at this here, guys, the sellers are also in control for YM. Price is pushing down right now. We had some big sell orders come in just recently. We had a big contract. 100 contracts came in at 7:45. So about a minute ago, 100 contracts got flooded in. This one big block order for sells on YM, and price is dumping as we speak. It's knocking out liquidity right here. We have some more liquidity right here, going to get knocked out soon. Yeah, liquidity right there. So looking at price, it's actually doing exactly what I mentioned earlier this morning. So I told you guys earlier that it's probably going to come back and grab liquidity on both ends, right? And that's pretty much what happened. Price spiked up right here. It grabbed liquidity up there. And then it came right back down and it grabbed liquidity down here. So a bunch of liquidity grabs on both ends. Price is now coming down. So we have an engulfing B1 variation candle right here. I mean, we don't really have much else. We have an NPS. Actually, no, I wouldn't consider that NPS because that was like way back here. What we need to look for here at this point is now we'd have to look for some sort of retracement. So we got liquidity knocked out right there. It's currently at the lower range. We have an engulfing B1 engulfing right here. So what we need to see next is a retracement up and continuation down. Ideally, that's kind of what we're looking for at the moment. All right, so you can see over here, price finally broke below. It's a break and retest off the structure. This is a clean chart. Price broke below right here, retested, and came back further from that point. I try to clean this back up like we had before, so that you guys can see things from a cleaner lens. This over here is it's kind of just pushing through. So it looks like price might try to reach this lower range right here. Again, like I said earlier, guys, we have this big range here. It's between the 550 up here and the 450 down here. That's the big range. The consolidation is right here down the middle. So target, and then we got another huge order, another 100 contracts for sells. So the sellers are really pushing price down and they're trying to keep price down. Yeah, they're really trying to push price further. So if you look over here, as I mentioned earlier this morning, the sellers have been in control pretty much all day today overall. Looking at the 4-hour, price has been below the pivots, trend meter has been green, red, and the pivots have been angling down. So 4-hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, all bearish, 10-minute, 5-minute, these have been bearish pretty much all session. The 1 minute's the leading though. So 1 minute pushed price up and then it leaded it back down to bearish conditions. Breakout right here is still running to its 100 points. It's not there yet, but it's almost. And then also looking over here at our market structure bias, like I said, we're trying to stay below this pink box right here, right? Whenever price came up, it bounced directly off the pink box right here. So perfect confluence is right there. As price continues to move to the downside like we anticipated this morning. So this is why it's always important to have bias on like different types of analysis. We had the trend bias over here was bearish. We had the market structure bias from yesterday, also bearish. And same here on our regular chart. We had the sellers in control from up here and it pushed price lower. And it's still kind of sitting down here at the moment. So it's the next target is going to be this liquidity target down below. Not there yet, but it's aiming for that point. And then if it pushes any lower from there, we have another target down here as well. It's just going to take some time, guys. Like, so don't, like I said earlier, don't try to force anything. Just wait for the trades to come to you. I haven't had any opportunities come up yet. So let's see. Glenn's asking if the 745 candle was an NPS V2. No, it wasn't because the NPS V2 actually came up over here. So it came up on this previous candle right here. I was looking at the same thing too, though, Glenn. I was looking to see if the NPS V2 would have came up right here actually on this 742 candle, but because it came up right here, it pretty much invalidated it. And the buyers were in control right here, so it just wouldn't have been an entry that I would have looked to take. All right, looks like price over here is faking out again at the range. Same thing that happened down here. It's like, it's just a repeat process. Another fake out, possible pushback to the upside. Or if it doesn't, it might stay below here, which is ideally what I'm looking for here personally. I'd like a buy signal to come up, maybe push up a little bit, and then come back down. CJ said today would have been a good day to sleep in for a couple hours and trade later, like we talked about. I know, yeah. Today's one of those days where like nothing really happened here on open. And I'd assume that price moves later. The only thing that you want to be careful for later, guys, if you do decide to trade today, is that the FOMC minutes come out today. They come out at 11 o'clock. It's super high impact. I wouldn't bother trading around that time. If you do want to trade, I would be done trading around like 10:30. So if you trade after the live session, I would probably stop trading around 10:30 around there. Because you can possibly expect some crazy movement to happen later at 11 once the minutes are released. All right, perfect. We got the buy signal right here. So this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this buy signal to come up so we can get a continuation to the downside. So what I would look for here is I would look for price to just keep coming right back down. The next red flag is down here. So we have some space, liquidity right there, but no red flags. So we got the buyers pushing price back up from here. Here we go, back into the range. It's like as soon as you start to get some momentum, price just goes right back into the range. I'm gonna clean this up right here. Clean chart. It's not really necessary anymore. I'll turn off the recording. I don't necessarily need not expecting much to happen here. All right, so we're back in the range, guys. Like I said, this whole morning we've been waiting for price to break out of the range and push below it or break above it and push up higher. But we're just not getting that today. Price, it just ends up going back into the range after it pulls out. So it pulls out. I know we got a little excited right here because we're like, okay, we're finally getting a push to the downside, but it didn't end up holding. Or maybe it will. We'll see what happens right here. You got price coming back down at this point. If that's the case, the sellers will be back in control from this point right here. We just got to see if price actually breaks and closes past the structure right here, but you can see how price has trouble again. Has trouble getting past it. Here's our clean chart. Again, price is going to try to get below this lower range, but not having so much luck. This is currently the 1 hour, so it's within the 1 hour support right now. Within the 1 hour support level. It's trying to get past it. So we did get a break. Let's see if it actually closes below that point. All right, perfect. We got a sell signal here that's currently pending. This could set up for an MPSB2. New York low right there. There's nothing below that though. All right, we got 4 seconds, 2 seconds, and we got the sell signal there. Okay, perfect. So this could possibly set up for a good entry right here, guys. The downside here, so this is the biggest downside. The ATR is kind of low, but the sellers are trying to push price down. You can see the volatility starting to push price down a little bit lower. We're considered at the low right now, though, so I'm looking at the time and sales. Right now, this is probably as low as we've been in a while. So the type of entry that I would be looking for is I would look for some sort of retracement and then continuation down, but I would like to see some sort of engulfing or a V1 that lines up with the MPS V2. Yeah, Sam's a triple confluence. Yeah, and there's a triple confluence that came up right here. Price broke below the structure with the sell signal, and that would have been a push for 20 points right there, looks like. Yeah, quick little push. Tricky entry though, because it came down and grabbed liquidity. So I mean, realistically, if you guys are looking at what happened here, my analysis from this morning where I mentioned just be careful for this middle area because price is going to go and grab liquidity in both directions, right? And that's exactly what happened. All the liquidity here pretty much got grabbed. And again, it grabbed liquidity down here. So I mean, it's pretty much grabbed liquidity on both ends. There goes that liquidity, it's done with. Now we have a V1 engulfing right here. This thing might come right back down. So this is a break and retest of the structure. All right, Sam. Sam's done for the day. I'm probably done for the day too soon. I'm gonna see how this here moves over the next minute or so. And if I don't see any like movement or any like actual volatility back to the downside, then I'm probably gonna call it a day as well. You know, like I said earlier, guys, there's no need to force any trades. If you guys have seen my stats for the week so far, I mean, it's the last thing I want to do is take a YOLO, like a FOMO trade and get stuck in, you know, at break even for the week. So this right here could start setting up for an MPS V2. The only problem here is that this isn't there's no reversal confluence on this candle. So this isn't one that I would be looking to take. Ideally, I'd only take it if it was a V1 variation or an MP or engulfing candle, which it isn't. So it's neither. However, this is an MPS entry. If you're looking to take an MPS, this is just a standalone MPS. There's no confluences on it. So I mean, personally, I just wouldn't take it because I want to see some sort of confluence. I'd like to see some sort of confluence on this candle so that I can have a little bit more confidence that price is going to actually drop. So no confluences here, so I'm not going to take it. There's the sessions right here. So that's probably where the target's going to be. If price does come down lower from this point, it's probably going to try to grab liquidity down here and touch the sessions below. That's a New York low right there. But there's just no setup here. I mean, for me personally, it's not a good enough setup for me to want to get into it, especially with having all these connection issues today. I'd rather just not. Thankfully, no connection issues in 713 though, so that's good. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any more questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I mean, it looks like price here is just faking out, starting to swing back up from this lower range. Ideally, you want price to kind of break out of this area. This range was established before market even opened. So ideally, you want to see price kind of push below and stay below this point. Or you want to see price push above, stay above this point. But that's not really happening today. So unfortunately, it looks like that's going to be it for the day, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I don't see any other questions set over here. The breakout's still running. surprisingly. Breakout's been running for an hour and a half now. It's no longer a breakout, it's now a day trade at this point. Got close to the 100 points. It did hit the 50 points here. It stayed below for a pretty nice while. However, it never reached the 100 points. This will probably get hit a little later today. So it might not happen right now, but probably in the next 2 hours or so, it'll probably make its way down and eventually hit, the 100-point TP. But other than that, guys, I think this is probably a good time to wrap it up. There wasn't really much movement today. Market opened right here down the middle, and it's kind of just went, let's see, it pushed down about, market opened right here. It pushed down about like 80 points, right now currently 50 points, and it pushed up about like less than 10 points. So I mean, it's been bearish for the most part today, but not very consistent, or it hasn't really held for that long. CJ said, I was hoping to pass my other 300K today, but it's all good. Thankful I passed one Friday and able to request payout on other PAs. Yeah, there's no rush to it. I mean, even myself, I bought a take profit trader account today. I was hoping to take my first trade on that account, but it's not looking like it. So it's all good. I'm gonna just hold off on taking anything else, and I'll come back tomorrow fresh for the next trading day. So, all right, guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I don't see any questions here, so I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. So, all right, guys. If you guys have anything, hit me up. Otherwise, same place, same time tomorrow for the